Hello and welcome to another video on the SQL series, and in today's video what we are going to do is we are going to load certain amount of data in our database using some CSV files. Now in SQL Server we have import options. Similarly you will get options in MySQL workbenches and Oracle SQL Developer. You can also find out methods in PostgreSQL to load the data, and once we load that data then we will be learning where clause, group by and having. In today's video, our main focus is going to be around where clause, handling null values, handling text values, date values, and even we will copy the data from a table to another table to create null values and then learn how to handle the null values. Now in today's video, we are only going to use single table to do that. However, we are going to load more than one table, and in upcoming videos we are going to look at how can we join. So to begin today's video, let's jump onto the SQL Server, and on SQL Server we are going to load new files. Now these files are available in the GitHub. I'm going to give you the link, and if you are unable to download the CSV file, you can download the Excel file sales data used in video, and then you can create 4 CSV files from that. So I have already started my SQL Server from services.msc, and I already logged in into SQL Server Management Studio. And in the SQL Server Management Studio, I have opened my database, and in my database, I have again opened my Learn SQL database by clicking on the plus sign. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on Learn SQL, go to task, import flat files. I click on import flat file. It shows me option to import the flat file. I press on next. Then it asks me the location. In the location, you should have one of the files as sales. Now there are 4 files which we are going to load: sales, item, and then we have a geography and customer. I also have a date table with me, but I'll tell you how to create a date table in SQL Server after some time. So let's click on sales. Click on open. Schema is DBO. Most probably in your case, if you have not created any schema, DBO is going to be the default schema if you are using SQL Server. In some other database, schemas is optional. The database name might be sufficient. Now then it will come to review the data. It seems fine. This is just the sample data. Now when it comes here, that's where you have to check the data type. Now right now, I'll prefer to use standard data type. So I'm going to change it to integers. This is date, this is integer, and this is the similar kind of database data types you will get in other databases also. In Oracle, you can use number data type if needed. Now price actually should be float or something, let's say float or double. So we'll make it float. COGS again, I'm going to make is integer. Discount percentage is not integer. I'm going to make it float. Okay. Actually the data here is integer, but just to have mixed kind of data types, I'm going to do it. I can mark order number as primary key and can make it as a primary key, but I'm not doing that changes right now. Let's proceed with this. Finish. It should show insert data successfully. The following task has been completed successfully. Now close this and right click and refresh. In the tables, you should be able to see this one. Say select 1000 rows. You should be able to see the 1000 rows. Now we have 30,000 rows. So what I'm going to do is from between select to from, I'm going to remove everything, and I'm going to say select count star from learn SQL.dbo.sql, and I'm going to execute. I'm getting 30,000 rows. So let's look at the process again, and let's load the second file. Right click on the learn SQL, task, import flat file, next, browse, geography, okay, next. The data looks okay. Data types is integer. Instead of n varchar, I'll prefer varchar. So varchar 50, not var binary, varchar 50, varchar 50. I'm using generic data type available across databases so that you will be able to find that. After that, I press next, and it got loaded. Let's look at one more file. Right click, task, import flat file, next, browse, customer, open, new table name customer, table schema DBO, new table name. If you want, you can change it. I'm keeping the same table name here. Next, the data looks fine. Press next. The data types integer, age is integer, city ID integer, city name is varchar 50, state name is varchar 50, name is, click on the down arrow, varchar 50, or even if you type certain characters, it will give you the suggestions. Then say next, summary, we don't want to do any changes in the summary, finish, data got loaded, close. Let's load one more data set. So we already loaded a couple of them. Let's check what all we have loaded. Right click, refresh, second last option, look at the tables. We have sales, we have geography, and we have customers. So item is missing. Right click, task, import flat file, next, browse, item, open, item name, table name is item, schema is DBO, next, seems fine, next, item data type is integer, name is varchar 50, brand ID integer, category ID integer. I'm pressing I. When I press I, it only suggests me integer, varchar 50, again varchar 50, again varchar 50. Okay, so I got it. I don't want to make a primary key, but I can make item ID as primary key. They are unique. Next, finish, close. Now let's look at one of the table other than this one. So let's refresh this. First of all, there is another refresh button here, F5. I can use that. Open the tables, check out the table names. We should have got item also. So customer, geography, item and sales. Right click on the item, say select 1000 rows. There are not 1000 rows, only 55 rows. So 55 rows are coming. Now we have enough data to start learning the SQL, what we want to learn today. So we will learn where clause. Okay. So what we are going to do is, let's again do this, select, right click on this or select 1000 rows, or we can manually write down. Okay, if you don't have, then you have to manually write down. Look at the column names. I opened it, and then we can say select order underscore number. I have not changed the column name, so if there is space or anything, it would have taken that order number, comma, item underscore ID from sales. Now why I am able to write down sales here, because I am already under learn SQL and I only have one schema DBO, so I am able to write down. Otherwise you have to write down dbo.sales, or if you are in master, here in the master or some other database, you have to write down dbo learn SQL.dbo.sales. So I am now, right now what I'm doing, I'm not selecting all the columns. I have selected order number, comma, item number, 2 columns. So we have selectively bring in column. We are not bringing all the columns. Now, one way is you write down all the column names, but when you want to bring all the column names, you can actually use star. So you can say select star from sales. So you don't have to write down everything. So let me say Control Z, Control Y. Let me keep all the scripts for you. And this is star. So now next we wanted to learn the where clause. So how do we do where clause? We say where item underscore ID equals to, let's say 1. I want to see how many record I have for item ID 1. So select star. Here you can say 333 rows are there. So there are 333 rows. Here at the bottom it shows, some database shows it here and some database shows it in the message. Okay, so message also shows 333 rows affected. So in that man, so I have item ID 1 with that much. Let's say for item ID, now it is equal to, same way I can do for equal to 2, 3, 5, 55, anything. Let's say if I give item ID 100, which does not exist. So then what I'll get? I'll not get anything, because that item ID does not exist in my data. What are the other option? Equal to, not equal to. So item ID, let's say not equal to 1. So we say not equal to 1. Now I have everything other than 1. And I have, look at, I have 29,667. This is exactly 333 less than the item ID is 1. So which means I am getting data other than item ID 1. And now I can, in some databases it is allowed to sort, but if it doesn't sort, we can say order by. Order by should be the last statement. Even if you have where clause or have group by having, order by should be the last, but order by, you can write down the sequence number or the column name item underscore ID. And if I sort it on item ID, by default in the database, the sorting is ascending sort. We have not writing down how we want to sort, ascending or descending, but in the order by we are getting item ID sorted, and that the sorting is right now ascending sort. You can see 2 is the first item. If I scroll, keep on scrolling, I should be able to get 3, 4, 5, so on. So I'm now getting 3. Now if I want descending, I can write down DESC to get descending. It is not that I only can sort an item. Let's say inside the item you further want to sort on, let's say quantity or price, or let's say by order number, you can do that. So first sorting is item ID, comma, second sorting is, let's say, sales underscore date, and sales date I want ascending. I can leave it or I can write down ascending. So descending sort of the item and ascending sort of the date inside the item sorting. So item IT 55, the first one is the first sort, the second one is the ascending sort. You can see this is 180429, 180503, 180504, 180505. Now please remember the CSV files might have data starting from 2018-04 and the Excel file might have data starting from 2018 October. But data is not different, just the date has been moved. We will let you know at some stage how to move those dates ahead. So now we know where clause and order by equal to and not equal to, but the where clause doesn't stop here. So now let's continue with the where clause. Let's start with, and let me create multiple versions of these because we have learned this without this one, then we have learned this one, then we have learned order by descending, and then we have learned descending and this one. Okay, now let's say I want to give 2 items. So when I want to give 2 items, what are the options I have? So first option I have is the OR clause, or item ID equals to 2. Is it 1 or is it 2? Okay, so item ID 1 or item ID 2, or we have to write down in the text. I'm a Power BI user, so I keep on writing down the pipe signs. So we are getting 1 and 2. You can see 681 rows are returned. In the message also you can see 681. And if I remove 1 and just to check it out, how many only for item 2, we'll get a number in the message is 384. So 384 and 333, that's the number we are getting. So item ID 1 or item ID 2. Now, when you need from the same column, you cannot have and. You will not get item ID and item ID 2. It is always or when you say I want 1 and 2, because in the same row, you will not have 1 as well as 2. In the same row, item ID cannot be 1 as well as 2 in the same row, and means in the same row, both values should be there. And item ID has only one value. That is why and is not going to work. So what is going to work other than on, and the better option is in clause. So you would use in item ID in, and we start the parenthesis 1 comma 2. Now if it is integer, you can write down 1 comma 2 like this. Otherwise if it is varchar, write down it in the single quotes. So now what we are getting here is sales, select star from sales where item ID in 1 comma 2 in clause. So if there is a in, can I have a not in? In means consider 1 and 2. It is just equivalent of or, but we should always prefer in than compare to or. Now, when I can do in, I can also do not in. So another option to select the data is saying list of item not in. Again, because it is integer without single quotes. If it is integer with single quotes, date again either in the default date format in the single quotes, otherwise you have to typecast it to date or write down functions like text to date functions which are available as in the database, and they would be very specific to database, right? Typically ANSI SQLs have certain standards. If there are not standard available, every database can follow whatever they want to. So now what we have done, select star from sales where item ID not in 1, 2. So now what we are getting is 29,319. You remember 681 or something like was the data which were there for the in. So we had 681 here and remaining 29,319 is coming here. So 30,000 is again contributing. Now, if there are null values, there could be something different. Right now, we are not dealing with the null value. Our data doesn't have a null value, so we are pretty safe. We have to discuss how do we handle the null values, okay? And how we are going to query the null value. For that, this data is not suitable. We'll go to again the older tables and see the null values. So now we have learned equal to, not equal to, in, not in, or, but we have used and, but in the and we were not able to use and because we were using it on the same one. But it is not the case. Let's say I want to find out item ID sold in city ID 1. In that case, it is and, because item ID 1 should also be true, city ID 1 should also be true. So we say select star from sale where item ID equals to 1 and city ID equals to 1. Both the conditions should be true, and this is how we are getting the data. So this is the item 1 sold in city 1. We only have 4 records. Now, sometime it is not that I filter these categorical things. I might filter like price and cost. So what you are going to do in such cases? Let us say I want to filter select star from sales where quantity equals to 2 or greater than equals to 2. So where quantity is either 2 or greater than equal to 2. Now, most of the database, the column names are not case sensitive, so you will be able to deal with it. MySQL has a setting for table name to be case sensitive, but typically column names are not case sensitive. But there could be databases where they are case sensitive. You might have to take care. Now I say quantity equal to 2, and now if you look at the quantity, even if I scroll down, you will see there is no quantity which is less than 2. And you can do now order by QTY, and we'll do it ascending to check it whether there is a quantity which is less than 2 or not. So I am able to now filter quantity equals to 2. Similar way I can have less than. Let's do it. So now let's try less than, and for less than what I'm going to do is select star from sales where discount percentage, I press the down arrow key to get there, is less than, let's say 25, because you can see there 28, 33, and let's also do order by descending this time, discount percentage descending, so that nothing over 25, if there is anything over 25 we should be able to see. So we are filtering this data, and now you can see the data which is coming is less than 25, and we are getting some 15,878 rows. So now we know how to handle number. Now let's filter out the date also. So now let's say select star from where sales underscore date equals to, right now I'm using database friendly format 2018-04-29. 28 is the date we have data, 29 is the date I'm querying. Do we have a data here or not? So I am getting the data for the sales date for 2018-4-29. I'm getting 62 rows. Let's say I need a between. Now between is applicable for date, between is also applicable for numbers, and sometimes it is also applicable for text. So now let's look at sales date between, let's say I want to see for the complete month of May, how much is my sales. Okay, so 2018 between -05, and my dates are truncated, please remember. So I will be able to go and to check whether I get 31st or not. What I'm going to say, order by sales underscore date DESC, is 31 included or not? In the between, what is all included? So DESC will tell us whether 31st is included or not. I should have a data. I have a data on 31st. And let's look at ascending. If the one first is included or not. ASC, ascending. Ascending is not needed. It is by default also ascending only. So between first value and second value, first value should be smaller, second value should be larger. Okay. Now same things you can also try for numbers. Between clause for numbers. So between less than equal to and greater than equal to, we could have used like this, less than and, see, I could have say, let me rewrite it. So how could have I written between? I could have written between like greater than equal to 10 and less than equal to, let's say less than equal to 15. So that is one way to write down between clause. And the other one, so you can say this is 15 and order by, and then we can say ascending and descending and check it. Or we can use between when we'll say between 10 and 15. So we don't need to write down less than and greater than. So same way we can say 10, between 10 and 15. Now we have seen quite a few aspects where we have actually seen numbers. We have seen this thing. Now this table doesn't have a text one. So to do that text one, let's select something from item. Let's say select star from dbo.item. We have item table. We are selecting everything from that. Now let's say I want to filter where item equals to item 1. Select star from DBO item where item equal to item 1 in the single quotes, and it is giving some error. Because item is not the column name, and item underscore ID is the column name, or name is the column name. So name is the column name, and let's give, does it work directly or I need to give it in the square bracket. Sometime if it doesn't take it, you might have to use double quotes in some database. You might have to use square brackets. So I'm able to get name. Now I want to get two items. So then I can use item in item 1, comma, item 2. So I got item 1 and item 2. So in clause, same way, if you want not equal to, you can say item not equal to item 1. And so we got 54 rows because it is not equal to item 1. Only 55 items are there. And I want to say not in. How many I should get now? 53 I should get. Select not in. How many rows? Right now we are getting 52 because it was not equal to 1. And now not in 1 and 2. We will only get 53 rows. So now we are pretty much comfortable doing where clause. Now I'll tell you one trick because I need some null values. I want to handle null values and learn how to do that. So I want to duplicate the sales table. Now in most of the database, this will be your statement. Create table sales 1 as select star from sales. Now this is not going to work in SQL Server. So this is for all other databases. In the SQL Server, it is going to work like select star into sales 1 from sales 2. So this is SQL Server for you. Rest of the database, a very similar statement like this should work. For SQL Server, it should be like this. So now I got sales 1, which is also having 30,000 rows. And what I'm going to do is, last time I taught you update statement. So let's run that update statement again. Update sales, set item ID equals to null, where item ID is greater than equals to 50. So anything which is above 50, we know we have till 55. So anything above 50, I'm updating it with null, and I'm saying equal to null. Remember this thing. Okay. Cannot insert null into item ID column, not null is. So what we had happened is, if you look at the property of this one, it is not null. Okay. So we have, when we made the table, we have made it not null. So it is not allowing us to insert null. Okay. So what we are going to say is create script to clipboard. Most of the database will allow you to do that. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to create one more table, and we want to create the table sales 2. Let's create the table sales 2, and here we are going to remove this. We'll say no, it's allowed, null is allowed. Everywhere we'll say null is allowed. Okay. Now we will have a little bit different syntax, and we remove everything. So create table, we create the same table. Now sales 2 we are going to create. Now we created a sales table. Now how do I insert data, the complete data? Now I'll tell you very simple way. Again, we are going to say select star from sales. Now insert into sales 2, and here I don't need as select star from sales. Now let's try to run that update statement. Update sales 2. Update sales 2. Set item ID equals to null, where item ID is greater than or equal to 50. Now we are able to do. So now let's select star from sales 2, where item underscore ID is greater than or equals to 50. We should not get anything. We are not getting anything. If I say strictly less than 50, I will be able to get the rows. Then how do I query the null values? Then to query the null values, because definitely doesn't belong. So if you want to give a clause on the column which is having null value, where item, let's say item ID equals to null. Let's try this. It doesn't work. Then how does this going to work? You have to say is null. Now in the database, you have to say is null. So it's going to give you the 1361 rows. It is giving you 1361 rows. Now 1361 are the rows where the item ID is null. Now if I want not null, let's say I want to query all the values which are not null, then how I am going to do that? So we say select star from item sales 2, where item ID is not null. So if you want to query the not null values only, you have to say not null. So you got another 28,639. So it should be the combination of this one, 28,000, and this is 1,300. So these combinedly creates 30,000 rows. So now you know how to handle the null values. Now remember, this is the item ID column. It is not the text column, but the null value handling is going to work in the same manner for the date as well as the text column. Now in the other than few databases, we might treat null as equivalent of 0 and 0 length string. You will not be able to query null values without using is null and is not null. You can do update by saying equal to null, but you will not be able to query. So go ahead and try these statements out, and do let me know what else you want me to cover in this particular series. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you. Keep watching, keep asking questions in comments, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for new videos. Thank you.